Hi there, and welcome to the Creatives Get Real podcast. I'm Roben-Marie Smith.
And I'm Sandi Keene, and these are real conversations about the creative life. Hey, Robin.
Hey, dear, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing swell.
Swell.
That's an old word, right?
It is. It's like saying you're groovy.
I know. It just kind of came out. I don't know.
I like it. I'm swell.
So what are we talking about today?
We are talking about something that I talk to my clients about all the time. And by talk, I mean preach. And that is branding.
Woohoo! That's a scary word for a lot of us.
It is. I know that you are the only person that wooed when we said that. Everybody else going, no. We talked about branding way back in episode 11. And we talked about what it is and how it's related to storytelling. And we promised that we would come back and talk more about branding. And today is the day.
It took a while, but we're back with it. Yes.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about the why. Why do you need a brand? What's so important about branding? And I talk about this all the time, and I bet it comes up in your work as well.
Yep. Especially with those that are designing their websites, because it's really hard to really get a grasp on things if you're not really sure, who your audience is, what you're about, what are your values, what are you wanting people to think of when they think of you in your business. Those are important things to consider, not just throw spaghetti at the wall and go, well, I'll figure it out as I go. I mean, you kind of need to work on that a little bit before you jump out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Branding is about creating this image that fully represents you so that people know who you are and what you're about. And if you don't know that yet, how can you portray it?
Right, exactly. And how can you be consistent and find your audience that then resonates with you and sticks with you? If you're all over the map and one day you're this and another day you're that, it's super confusing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. So let's talk about the whys and how we go about doing this whole branding issue. So I'm going to take the first one, and it is, if you don't define your brand, you can't represent it. Wow. Let's all stop and cross-stitch that on a pillow for our couch, because that's so important. If you don't define your brand, it's talking to when I'm coaching people and we're talking about mission and purpose and branding. And exactly, if you can't figure it out for yourself, you certainly can't teach other people about you.
Right.
And it just makes your job so hard. I know people think that you can avoid branding because it's difficult, but you're actually making your job so much harder because branding is a tool that you yourself will use for many, many, many things, and it will make your life easier.
Yeah, and that leads us into the second point, which is without a brand, you have no clear direction. So when you're making decisions and choices about how you're going to run your business or how you're going to represent yourself to your community, if you don't have that clear direction, it's really hard for you to make decisions. If you have that, then you can say, this doesn't represent my value, so I'm going to say no to this particular opportunity. Or this is right in line with what my brand is about. This, whatever this offer is or whatever this thing is that you want to get involved in or you want to be connected to. That way, if you've got that clear direction, it's not to say you can't tweak and modify things, but you've got to have a sense of who you are and who your audience is and who you're speaking to, so that you're not just, as we've said before in other episodes, just speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So having that clear direction helps you in all of your decision making.
Absolutely. The next one is your website will seriously suffer the lack of a brand. Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing as, we talked about before, because you don't know it, you can't represent it. You don't, it's far beyond picking your 3 favorite colors.
Right.
Even though that is a part of branding, and it's really fun to pick your brand colors. I mean, yeah, we're artists. We all know what our 3 favorite colors are, but how do they represent you, and how do they represent your brand? That is really important.
And it's, it's words too. We talked about in the storytelling your brand episode, because the way that you present you and your brand is the words that you use in the captions on Instagram. It's the words and the stories that you share in your newsletter or your whatever you send to your email list. It's all of those things are part of you and that brand, so that when someone sees something or they read a caption on your Instagram, they know that's you. They know that that's part of who you are. And so if you just don't have that, I mean, it's like going to a website and you're just going, whoa, I don't even know what they do exactly. Like, it's so confusing. Right. It's so confusing.
Yeah. And what do they do? Yeah. You know that I'm a stickler for words. I love words. I'm a stickler for words. I do copywriting. It's so important, because let's say that you're all about community and inspiring other people and mentoring. If that's your message that you're trying to give off, and then someone comes to you and says, hey, would you like to represent, a fitness brand?
Exactly.
Does that fit with your message? Those are the kind of decisions that you need to make.
Right.
And if you haven't defined it for yourself, then it makes it really difficult. And what you do, you splinter in all these different directions. And you just, let me try this. Let me try this. Here's a great opportunity. I should do this. Should you?
Right. That's right. And having your brand, your values, your mission, all of those things work together, that you can then evaluate it and say, no, that really doesn't fit. Now, does it say that it might not fit down the road as you grow and adapt and maybe you tweak things a little bit? Who knows? I don't know. So I'm going to let you take the next one too, since it is your quote.
Skip the work, skip the reward.
That's true with even fitness.
Very.
Yeah. I haven't been on my bike in a while. I'm not reaping a whole lot of reward right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just like art. If you don't do it, you don't get better.
It's true.
I mean, we all know that. We preach it to our kids. We try to model that in life, but it's true in branding as well. You can't skip this step. It's not something that you can just jump over and come back to.
Yeah. It's the starting point.
It is the starting point.
It's before you actually leave the running block. It's,
Yep. Pick a team.
That's right. All right. The next one is creatives without a brand are unlikely to build the relationships that are necessary to succeed. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one, especially when we're talking about community and you're talking about, working with other people, working in conjunction with, it's also your audience. If your message and your branding is off or you're not clear and focused, then those people aren't going to know that you're right for them. And so you're losing out on potential relationships for, say, collaborations, or who knows what opportunities could come down the road. And if you're too scattered and not focused, those that are looking to maybe engage with you or collaborate with you may go, I don't know, that's not what I'm looking for. I mean, you guys know it. When you, and I say this, but eventually, an opportunity will come your way and you'll go, oh, let me go check out their website. And you go look at their website and you read some things and you go, oh no, that's not for me. Or you go, oh my gosh, yes, this is right in line with, who I am and what my brand is. You just know. Yes,
Definitely. It would be like me if I was approached, would you like to teach in an oil painting seminar? No, it's, no, it's not my skill set. It's that's not my audience. That's not my peeps. Watercolor. Yeah. Mixed media.
Yep.
Journal making? Yes. Oil painting? No.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't want me to because I stink at it. But it's just, and it does help because you and I both know opportunities have come to us and we have wondered, should I do this? But if you stop for a moment and think about it, and like you said, go to that website and check out what they're about, then the answer is clear.
That's right.
Because we have both watched people do things that are off brand. And it never works, and they're always disappointed, and they spent all this time,
right,
and they didn't reap the rewards that they were expecting. And that's why.
Because it wasn't a fit.
Not at all. Right. Okay. Next is branding makes your decisions so much easier. And it does. And here's how. I say that branding is a filter. So when you have a decision to be made, you run that decision through that question, through the filter, and it answers it for you 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I think for me, back when I first really started honing in and focusing on, okay, what are my values? I really went through a process of, okay, what are these? I went through these long lists. I made these lists and I narrowed it down. And so it came out to, okay, these are things that are important to me. So they're part of my brand. These are values or missions that I have. And so I'm able to look at those. And like you just said, that's sort of a little bit of my filter from not just an art side, but whether I want to cozy up to a project that correlates with that. Basically, do I want to be associated with this particular whatever based on their values and based on their branding? And I don't want to use examples because I don't want to make any offense, but there could be some things that I'm just like, that doesn't fit with me. And I don't want to be associated because, first of all, it doesn't match what I'm about. And somebody would go, wow, that's really confusing. She stands for this, and this is what we think of when we think of her and her brand, but yet that doesn't make any sense that she's doing that. So it's really, it helps so much. And it makes it easy. You can say yes or no, and you don't have to really agonize over that decision because you already know that filter is going to help you get to that answer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, guys. The last one is no branding is like hiking with your ankles tied together. Whoa.
I'm going to vote no on that.
Like when you used to do those, those little a fall festival things where you had your ankles tied together and you're all trying to, yeah, it doesn't work. Oh, and I think we were even carrying eggs in a spoon. Wasn't that when you were trying to do the egg spoon thing and you're tied together? Yeah, it's like one's going one way and one's going another, and you're not focused and you don't have that clear direction. That's a great, Sandi came up with that, by the way. That's awesome. That's a great way to describe it, for sure.
Well, it definitely hinders you. That is for sure.
Yep.
So if this is something that you've never done, we challenge you to give it some thought, at least figure out your purpose, your mission. Why do you do art? If you're doing it, there's no wrong answer, by the way. If you're doing art to satisfy your own creative itch and then you want to share it, that is a great purpose, a great mission, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's it. So that if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I've got this project, would you like to be a part of it? You're going to say no. You're going to say, no, I do this just for myself. I don't have the time and don't want to be committed to something else.
It's like being asked to do commission work. It's like, oh no, absolutely not. Like, you just know, I mean, I'm speaking for myself. That is not a road I want to go down.
Right.
So I know when I'm asked, it's like, I'm sorry, that's just not something that I do. That sounds so stressful to me that I can't even, I'm like, I just feel anxious just talking about it.
About it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 2 things that I will never do. I don't sell physical product because I hate shipping. Which is ironic because I used to ship for Roben-Marie, which is probably why I hate shipping. Not because of you, because I had a really good taste of it and said,
it's not
this
fun.
stinks. I don't like this. And I have committed, I never want to teach a class alone. Ever. People ask me, don't you want to teach a class alone? No. No. Why would I? No, it's like, a singer who wants to be in a rock band. They don't want to sing by themselves. They love the band experience. I'm the same way. I love the collaborative experience. That's where I get all of my joy. So no, I don't want to teach alone. Thanks.
Right. And that's easy for you to make that decision.
Right. Okay. So you won't see me, in one of those 30 teacher things where everyone teaches their own lesson. You will never see me there because that's not something I want to do.
And Sandi and I also together collaborated on branding training that is available inside Makers Tech U. I've talked about that before. We've talked about it. That is where it's a membership where I teach and train on the technical side of being online and social media and developing your website. But we felt that the branding part was so important that we collaborated on that to create some training, very valuable training. So even if you just come in and take that training, it's worth it. And so if you don't know and you have no clue where to start, that would be a good place to start.
It would, because we do walk you through step by step with examples.
Yes. And worksheets. There's a whole workbook that we put together for it as well. Yes.
It does make it easy. And we collaborated on it because part of my mission is to never teach alone.
Yep. And it was fun. We did it up in the mountains last year. And it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too. So so it's valuable training, and you get both sides, Sandi's vision of branding, mine. So we work together to kind of create this cohesive training on the topic. So, and dive a lot deeper than we even did in this podcast episode.
Yeah. And it's great because you get coach meets tech advisor.
There you go.
You got a team.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope this helped, and that people, if you have any questions, let us know. Branding, it's a big deal.
It is, but don't be scared, because this is a hurdle that it's worth tackling, getting over. It'll make things so much easier for you.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of Creatives Get Real.
We love hearing from you. So hop on over to Instagram and leave us a comment. And we also appreciate reviews on iTunes.
And you can find me, Sandi Keene, at sandykeene.com, and my classes at popupartclasses.com.
And you can find me, Roben-Marie Smith, at robenmarie.com. And if you're looking for and need tech support, check out my membership site, makerstechu.com.